Imagine your phone is taken away right now. All you are given is a small fire, a cave, and an entire night of darkness. How long do you think you could last? 10 minutes? Half an hour? Or would you start getting restless, reaching around for something to touch, as if you had lost a piece of your soul? Have you noticed something? A lot of people today are no longer just wanting to play with their phones. They are unable not to. Waiting for the elevator? Scroll. Eating a meal? Scroll. Going to the bathroom? Scroll. Before bed you say, just 5 more minutes. Then you look up, and somehow it is 2 in the morning. But here is the strange part. Human beings have lived without phones for far longer than we have lived with them. We spent millions of years evolving our brains. Yet in just a little more than a decade, many of us became creatures that cannot live without screens. So what did ancient people do? No phones, no internet, no short videos, no games, no television. At night, many of them did not even have lamps. Did they just finish dinner, sit at the cave entrance, and stare blankly at rocks? Did whole families sit around a fire in total silence until sunrise? It sounds painful. But the truth may be the exact opposite. Maybe the people who truly do not know how to face boredom are not ancient people. It is us. Imagine an ancient human waking up in the morning. He has no alarm clock, no messages, no unread notifications, no one reminding him that he has a meeting today. The first question after he opens his eyes is not, should I work hard today? The question is, can I survive today? This is not motivational talk, because he really has to solve one thing first. What is there to eat? When we ask, what should I eat? We may be choosing between spicy hot pot, a burger, or ordering takeout. But for ancient people, what should I eat was a high-risk mission. He had to leave the camp, watch the weather, listen to the wind, read the footprints. He had to decide whether a fruit was safe to eat, whether that water could be drunk, whether the movement in the grass was a rabbit or a predator waiting to strike. You see, ancient people were not without entertainment. They were just not always safe enough to zone out. When someone could be hungry, injured, lost, or watched by wild animals at any moment, the brain did not have many chances to say, wow, I am so bored, because the world was constantly sending messages. They were just not pop-up notifications. They were the sound of a branch snapping, footprints on the ground, the cry of an animal in the distance, a sky that suddenly turned dark. So here is the question. Why are we more likely to feel bored even though we are much safer now? Because in ancient life, stimulation came from the real world. In our lives, most stimulation comes from screens. When ancient people saw grass move, their heart rate rose. When modern people feel their phone vibrate, their heart rate rises too. That sounds funny, but if you think about it carefully, it is terrifying. Our bodies live in the modern world, but our brains still behave like ancient hunters. The brain loves new things. It loves change. It loves danger. It loves gossip. It loves not knowing what will happen next. So why are short videos so hard to stop watching? Because they are like a patch of grass that never stops moving. You never know what the next one will be. It might be funny. It might be scary. It might be a beautiful person. It might be breaking news. It might be something you do not care about at all. But somehow you still cannot help watching it until the end. That is the brain's favorite thing. Uncertain rewards. But ancient people did not have short videos. So how did they satisfy this ancient need in the brain? The answer is simple. Real life itself was their short video feed. Tracking an animal today was one episode. Finding strange footprints was one episode. A conflict with a nearby tribe was one episode. At night, someone telling the dangerous story of what happened during the day was another episode. And this episode could not be skipped, because if you did not listen, tomorrow you might truly be in danger. So ancient people were busy during the day. But what about at night? After dark, they could not just wander around outside. Of course they could not. Night was extremely dangerous for early humans. No streetlights, no flashlights, no concrete houses. What was hiding in the darkness? You did not know. Maybe nothing. Maybe a pair of eyes was already watching you.
So when night came, people moved closer to the fire. Fire was not only for warmth. It was not only for light. It was more like the ancient living room, the ancient movie theater, the ancient meeting room, the ancient safe zone. Picture this. Outside, everything is black. The wind moves across the grass. From far away, an animal cries once in the night. A group of people sit around the fire. Someone repairs a stone tool. Someone works on animal hide. Someone holds a child. Someone begins to tell what happened that day. I saw a huge animal by the river today. Do not go east. There are wolves over there. Last time, we went around the back of that mountain and found a lot of fruit. You may think this is just chatting, but to them, this could be life-saving information. In an age without writing, maps, or search engines, stories were the hard drive of humanity. A route described by an elder might help young people find water. Footprints described by a hunter might help the group avoid danger. A legend about a monster might sound superstitious, but hidden inside it could be a real warning. Do not go to that place. So do you see it now? Ancient people were not without content. Their content was told by one person to another. No screens, but there were facial expressions. No special effects, but there was imagination. No comment section, but someone next to you could actually interrupt. No, that is not right. I was there too. This may have been humanity's earliest entertainment. It may also have been humanity's earliest social media. Back then, a like was not a tap on a screen. It was people really laughing, really remembering, really passing the story on. But there is still another question. If ancient people were full, safe, and the stories had all been told, would they finally start to feel bored? Yes, but their boredom may have been completely different from our boredom today. Modern boredom is this. I have too many things to watch, but none of them truly satisfies me. Ancient boredom was this. The world has become quiet, and now I can hear the voice inside my own mind. Have you ever had this experience? In the shower, an idea suddenly appears. During a walk, you suddenly understand something. While staring into space, a strange question rises in your mind. Why does that happen? Because when the outside world becomes a little less stimulating, the brain starts working on its own. It remembers, it connects, it imagines. It takes what it saw during the day and builds it into something new. An ancient person stares at the fire. The flames jump and twist. He might think, why does this fire look like an animal? He looks up at the stars. He notices that some stars seem to connect into shapes. He has a dream. In the dream, a dead relative comes back. Then a question appears. Where do people go after they die? You see, these moments of boredom may slowly have become myths, rituals, music, dance, cave paintings, and stories. Some of humanity's earliest imagination may not have appeared during busyness. It may have appeared in silence. So boredom is not necessarily emptiness. Boredom may be a piece of land. If you do not fill it with trash, something can grow from it. But how do we deal with boredom today? The moment we have free time, we take out our phones. The moment it becomes quiet, we put in our earphones. The moment things feel awkward, we pretend to check a message. The moment we lie down, we start scrolling. We are not eliminating boredom, we are eliminating emptiness. And emptiness is exactly where the brain grows ideas. This explains something very strange. Why do we have more entertainment than ever but feel less and less interested? In the past, one story could be listened to for an entire night. Now, if a video does not grab you in 3 seconds, you swipe away. In the past, one person could look at the stars and think for years. Now you scroll for 2 hours, and in the end, you only remember that you may have seen a talking dog, an argument, a ridiculous news story, and 5 strangers live streaming. A lot of information, very little memory. A lot of stimulation, very little satisfaction. That is the scariest part of modern boredom. It is not that there is nothing to watch. It is that you have watched so much, your brain has gone numb. You are like someone constantly eating snacks. Your mouth never stops moving, but your body never truly feels full.
So how did ancient people survive boredom without phones? Maybe the answer is they did not survive it. They lived. They tracked animals, gathered food, made tools, took care of children, observed the weather, told stories around the fire, looked at the stars, dreamed, feared the darkness, and tried to explain the darkness. Every day, they were connected to the real world. And us? We may be sitting in the safest and most comfortable rooms in human history, yet we are being pulled around by a tiny screen. This does not mean phones are bad. Phones are useful. They can help us learn, connect with others, make money, and relax. But the problem is this. If every moment of boredom is immediately filled by a phone, we slowly lose an ancient ability. The ability to stay with ourselves. The ability to create thoughts from silence. The ability to feel life without relying on constant outside stimulation. Have you noticed? Sometimes what really makes us uncomfortable is not boredom. It is what appears after the phone stops. Maybe loneliness. Maybe anxiety. Maybe a question you have avoided for a long time. Maybe just the quiet version of yourself. So the question, how did ancient people survive boredom without phones, eventually becomes another question. Now that we have phones, can we still tolerate a moment of silence? Next time you feel bored, do not rush to open your phone. Try doing absolutely nothing for 1 minute. Look out the window. Listen to the sounds around you. Let your mind drift for a while. Imagine that you were born 10,000 years ago. Tonight, which fire would you be sitting beside? Whose story would you be listening to? And what story would you tell others? Maybe you would discover that boredom is not the enemy. It is more like a door. Modern people see that door and immediately try to block it with a phone. But ancient people may have walked through that door and found stories, music, myths, art, and the earliest human imagination. So the truly frightening thing is not having no phone. The truly frightening thing is that we may have forgotten how to live when there is no phone. Tell me in the comments, if you had to go one full day with no phone and no internet, how long do you think you could last?